to see the rift modulator made it into your hands. I hesitate to call them the right hands. Let's just see how this all plays out.
Everyone here is such an admirer. You've been an enormous influence, Intercessor Delgado.
Anchor's Brun is up the lift. 4th floor.
Please keep your behavior within acceptable parameters.
Anchor's Brun is continuing Anais' research from Winter's Grass. I'm sure of it. Best play along for now, until we can ascertain the best course of action.
Playing alone. Duration indeterminate.
Well, don't you look run of the median?
No, is that Marisol?
The endpoint herself. I thought she was a myth.
Let's be on our best behavior. Don't even breathe. This experiment seems a mite controversial, dangerous even, both in a physical and mathematical sense.
Your job is intimidation, not risk assessment. The Anchoress knows what she's doing.
Of course. Forgive me. I will look to math as a source of comfort rather than anxiety.
Are you going to be a problem? Because I have a solution that requires very little computation.
Look, everyone! It's the endpoint. Come to join us, I take it.
I do have a unique interest in what you all are doing here.
Don't bother conversating unless you're prepared to cite your sources. I suppose I could spare 0.004% of my daily cycle for someone else.
talk, calculating an inverse complex sine function in my head.
There's little you could tell me I couldn't also tell you.
Try not to deviate from the norm.
I am a long-time vocal exponent of your work, Intercessor Delgado. I hope you don't mind me saying. Go on up. You're expected.
Doubt the Anchoress will walk away from the research lightly. May require some aggressive convincing.
Oh, who's this? Oh, yes, I remember you. We met earlier at the site of my former seclusion. I've heard much of your exploits since. If I recall correctly, you helped me prove my argument that pacifism always presents the best options. I admit I have modified that opinion slightly since then. I understand your actions led to Seer Wiley's unfortunate demise. Such a bright boy, such promise. And you're Marisol Delgado. We've never met somehow, but I've read your file. An impressive body of work, though often quite mortiferously inclined.
The universal equation occasionally requires subtraction.
Yes, well, to what do we owe the pleasure? Are you familiar with our goals? Come to join up, perhaps, or should I say re-enlist? Surely you're aware of the myriad errors of our current presiding bishop and previous regime. One of whom shut down the division that operated here, the other squandered it. Our sect aims to end human suffering, sooner than later. We've taken great inspiration from your former department, from their methods and their science. To solve the universal equation in our lifetime requires bold action, clever calculation, and assiduous work. A truly unfortunate accident. I had posted my disputation and stated my intention to leave. We argued heatedly. Objects were thrown. She stumbled and fell badly. We try to honor her loss. Such tragedy only underlines the importance of our endeavors here. Each day the equation remains unsolved, countless more tragedies occur. We must succeed at the soonest possible haste. Oh, you're an admirer as well? It's one of the very things that led me to agree to lead the efforts here. I believe it's the way forward for the Order. Bujold's thinking was unconventional, ahead of her time. Why, in fact, she's here with us now today, overseeing an experiment that proves her researchers' theories.
Really? Seer Bujold is here, at present, in this facility? The one we're presently standing in?
The intent is to represent the building blocks of the universe within a test chamber, then extrapolate data revealing the universal equation from the micro-universe that forms. All very groundbreaking and exciting. I've been pacing about my little cell smiling all day at just the very thought.
Sounds like it could change everything, one might say.
Why, you should go see for yourself. As former colleagues, I'm sure you'd like to reacquaint. Go on. I'll call down to let her know you're coming. Yes, she's monitoring the experiment. I'll have elevator access unlocked so you can join her. Do please stay in the observation area, though. The work is quite delicate. We'll speak further after you check over Seer Bujold's work and the experiment concludes. Oh, so exciting. Thought you were heading to assist Seer Bujold downstairs. How much longer do you predict preparations will take?
Almost ready. Perfect timing for my former colleague to peer review my work. I'll press them to verify my settings. Thereupon, we will begin.
Splendid. While others pontificate, we act.
Head Intercessor Delgado, what an opportune time for you to appear. At the perfect moment to assist our experiment.
What in the endless void are you?
Shh. Comms off, but others are near. I need your aid before this ridiculous affair careens into disaster. Can I rely on you this time? Or will you already intend on scurrying away again? I came to derail this line of inquiry in such a discommodious way that no one would ever consider trying it again. For all the aforementioned reasons of it likely causing, or at least queuing up and leading to, the end of all things. You chose to leave me behind, again. So when they came calling, I thought it an opportunity to sort it all myself. Yet, admittedly, at this moment, I could use your assistance.
This shouldn't be your burden. It's on me.
You don't get to decide that, or adjudicate, or coolly comment in a steely growl. Not falling for that a 10th time. Help, or stay out of my way. You don't remember us discussing this before Winter's Grasp? Too many competing crises, I guess. All right. Years ago, I was kicked out of the Order for research deemed dangerous. A means of sidestepping much of what's presumed required to solve the universal equation, using a series of reasoned shortcuts and educated postulations.
The idea was, theoretically, it would hurry the process along, so the equation could be solved in our lifetime. It was completely unorthodox.
Since then, I calculated what might occur if my work was completed. And there's a big chance of subsequent events leading to a universal end. So the stakes are everything.
When we destroyed the original copies of her research at Winter's Grasp, I discovered someone else was continuing her work, which led us here.
The test involves 4 stations. Each represents one of the fundamental building blocks of the universe. Zeranium gas, macro-ivs, nucleons, N-rays. All the usual stuff. That test chamber is where all are meant to mix. To simulate a mini-universe I can apply my theories to, pull data from, and deduce the universal equation in a reduced time frame. We know what happens if that's successful. So I need you to muck with each station's settings, then initiate the experiment. All you need to do is adjust each station's settings slightly. Things will cascade from there. Remember, subtlety is required.
Yes, if we alter the experiment input data in a less than delicate fashion, Brun will notice, I assure you.
The guards on the 2nd floor won't appreciate visitors, so avoid getting spotted. Here's a maintenance key. Head down the vent. It's only the fate of the galaxy riding on it, so perhaps try to be careful.
I trust that is the sound of science going exceptionally well.
Indelibly eradicate algorithmic dissonance. Wonders define recurrence relation.
Unfriendly nearby.
Rival eliminate.
Two.
Something wrong back there? Hello?
hurt like us. Stop talking.
I'm no tenured archivist, but that sounds dangerously unstable. Oh well. Worthless bodies.
What to do? Start the cycle, indelibly eradicate algorithms.
No? Oh, just me then, I see.
Stop talking.
It's a sequence largely summoned to preceding numbers gives us math, brings us wonders, define recurrence relation, get us to sequence summation.
Take their place.
From Liber Abachi, P and Q are true. If P is true, or Q is true. The simple truth table for turbulent times. Path to ascendancy is non-linear, so it says.
If you're done, evaluating my work and all settings are final, enter the terminal command to void the oxygen from the test chamber.
Did it work? Did it work? See, was it a success? What happened?
Hold the applause just yet. I need to run the numbers. I'm sending the others back up to you. They can describe the proceedings in detail.
I shall await their arrival. Anchoress Brun out. That is how these messages end, yes? If not, farewell.
The results of the experiment will be a career-ending embarrassment for Anchoress Brun. But she won't accept this lightly. We'll need to do more.
Yes, our next steps here will be crucial. I know this type of mission well. Granted, my targets were always meticulously well-researched beforehand.
You'll need to convince her, destroy her logic, end this research for good. All it requires is a forceful array of incisive argumentation, logical reasoning, coercive persuasion, and cognitive contortioning.
You mean one of our old brain-off maneuvers? Really? That's what the rank and file in our old department used to call it. Provost Bolding considered it a casual moniker unbefitting of an order scientician.
Make Brun give up on science, logic, and reason entirely. Then no one will ever dare continue the research again. Between you and Marisol, it should be a light challenge. Easy.
A brain-off against an Order anchorite isn't entirely without risk. We could employ certain other methods to deal with her. From our former department's playbook.
Oh, yes, a book you wrote titled Making an Execution Look Like an Accident. Despite the moral quandary ideally involved, unseen consequences still abound.
That's hyperbolic at best. Data suggests significantly fewer unpredicted outcomes than outright murder, if properly executed. And I'm quite capable of skewing results in our favor.
I naively hoped your commander would coax you away from such thinking.
Demoralizing an enemy through overwhelming logic may be a preferable alternative to outright murder.
Success isn't guaranteed. A fair degree of cleverness is required. But you would have the help of someone reasonably intellectually nimble.
I would be willing and on hand to assist, and the other option would remain if we botch it.
Seems reasonable. Appreciate you listening. Murder shouldn't be our first option here. Too many drawbacks, both mathematically and ethically.
Admit I'm a bit surprised after some of your earlier leanings.
Not sure I like the sound of that. Typical argumentation may prove useless, and she'll likely see through most attempts at deception. Be clever, unpredictable, surprise her. But in the event you should fail, you'll need a viable backup plan, or it will erase any chance of success completely. The Anchoress is housed in a test chamber similar to this one. It's been refurbished with some rather tacky furniture, but much of the old experimental apparatus remains. There is a hatch near the elevator upstairs. An external ledge leads to a vent system that can connect the two chambers. Doing so will expose the Anchoress to a lethal atmosphere. I'll need to make an announcement afterward that an accident has occurred tied into the experiment.
For an extemporaneous plan, it's not a bad one. What if the Anchoress realizes what we're doing and calls for help?
I'll cut off her comms when she begins pleading. Oh, that sounds even more heartless when I say it out loud. Please choose wisely. Here's the hatch key in case you need it. May all your endeavors elicit expected results. And Marisol, do keep out of trouble.
There you are. You saw the experiment through to the end, yes? The data hasn't arrived yet, so please do tell. Was it as beautiful as I imagined? Any inklings to the result? Or perhaps I oughtn't to have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, Well, don't just stand there. Tell me everything. Some issues? You seem like softening the blow. Was there a malfunction? Was there some error in the calculations? Wait. Let's start from the beginning. Step me through your understanding of what's gone awry. Not sure what gave you that impression, but I guarantee they are a hand-picked group of top-order scientists, all fiercely committed. No shirkers or malingerers among them. What else concerned you? These are all fundamental building blocks of the universe. Together, they form the primordial soup our galaxy was formed from. This is widely recognized in scientific circles. This was just a start. Such models typically make an enormous amount of errors at first. All quite expected, an anticipated setback, nothing more. It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to be making a lot out of this, though, one must say. I miss her skepticalness and insight. If we could agree on a topic, there could be little doubt in its logic and rectitude. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely no need for all this doom and gloom. Oh, is one of you a seer now? Because I put Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Seer Bujold's research, which is quite brilliant. Now you've resorted to lying just to be hurtful. I've seen it before, and I understand you must be in pain, so I will neither take offense. The experiment data just arrived in my terminal. There was notable variance to the input data, to an extent suggesting external dithering occurred. I hate to use the word sabotage. Did you? Tenured actuary and Himmel, I fear this was
If I may, I have a point I'd like to add. There's a critical flaw in Sir Bujold's approach I think best illustrated by this English phrase. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I much appreciate this jest. Very simple, yet clever. Because in English, the word like can mean similar to or I prefer. And flies can be to soar, or plural of the insect. Through this perspective, it functions, makes sense, is humorous even. But in another language where words' meanings differ slightly, it does not. The framework we interpret the statement from changes, thus rendering it uninterpretable. False. Bujold's method of shortcutting the universal equation is much the same.
It lacks context. When you extrapolate the data from the mini-universe to the larger one, the information itself may scale correctly, but fail to interrelate. This has been a difficult conversation. Challenging, disputatious, at times...
We tried. Our fallback plans are own...
What was that? You're starting to worry me. What do you intend to do? There you are. Perhaps I oughtn't to have recloistered myself till after the experiment What? Are you all right? Did you hit your head coming up here? I mean, what is that supposed to mean? It couldn't... Wait. Wait. Let's start from the beginning. I assure you it is not. Grace was personally responsible for its... What else concerned you? These are all... This was... It simply needs to be revised and refined. Now, I'm starting to believe you're just needlessly fretting. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But
Our fallback plans are...
There you are. Perhaps I oughtn't to have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, What? Wait. Wait, really? In what way? These are all fundamental... This was just a start. Such models, it simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly... Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to strive... Oh, is one of you... Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Sir Bujold. That's both incorrect and... The experiment... There was notable variance to the input data. To an extent suggesting external dithering occurred. I fear this was...
If I may... I have a point I'd like to add. Well then, you failed. Our fallback...
Fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. During our recent experiment in Test Chamber Beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to Test Chamber Alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for Anchoress Brun. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit of science. As the experiment was a colossal failure, I, as senior scientist remaining, have determined we must abandon this inquiry and shut down the program immediately. Oh, such a terrible shame. Farewell!
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and Anchoress Brun falls prey to an unfortunate accident right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events are unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. Don't try to lay the responsibility for this on me. I'm not buying it. The Anchoress, poor trusting soul that she was, may have believed you were here in good faith. But I don't. You're looking more and more like enemies to me. You think I'm predisposed to assume their logic is sound and reasoning impeccable? Perhaps I do defer in part where such intellects are involved. Yet, the greater facts of this matter remain unevinced, and I remain unconvinced. Are you done? I know you're to blame. I just wanted to see how far you were gonna take this. I can't believe Anchoress Brun fell for any of it. Fellow exemplars of the Order, commence hostilities!
Standing by.
Present coordinates yield diminishing returns!
Forget!
Fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. During our recent experiment in Test Chamber Beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to Test Chamber Alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for Anne Braun. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit of science.
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor. A key experiment.
That's so.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. I don't care that you somehow roped in Bujold with that little performance. I'm not buying it. The Anchoress, poor trusting soul that she was, may have... You think... Yet, the greater facts of this matter... Really? You don't say. I know you're to blame. I just wanted to see how far you were gonna take this. I can't believe it. Fellow exemplars of the Order, commence us...
Emergency
Don't become a statistic.
Fellow scholars of the Order, a tragic accident has occurred. During our recent experiment in Test Chamber Beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to Test Chamber Alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for Anchoress Braun. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit.
I understand now why a key experiment...
That's...
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delk. It's her association with that department that has me... Suppose you'll claim this was all just coincidence. A misaligned series of mishaps that simply appear to be your fault. You think... Yet, the greater facts of this matter remain unevinced. And Are you done? I know, fellow
Emergency...
You're changed! Get the spread!
Find teammate vitals.
Red assessment.
Get the spreads!
Enemy invisible.
Fall apart! Fall apart!
Potential combatant in the vicinity. Threat nullified.
You've suffered extensive damage.
Hostiles.
Proceeding for grenade is in.
Didn't even try. I shouldn't be disappointed, but always think you know better, don't you?
The credit or blame belongs to the...
Right. Look, this may have worked out fine. If not, I get... Oh. Before I forget.
Thank you. Anais? Oh, Brunn obviously murdered her. Thought you knew that. Perhaps it was an accident. Perhaps she simply or not. Indefinite immurement isn't. But her canned, feigned concern about Chow, how she kept changing the subject. Well enough, Commander. Shall we go? I'm sure there's...
No hostiles identified at present. This unit will notify Agent Delgado when...
Competition.
There you are. Perhaps I oughtn't have Wait. Wait. Really? In what way? These are all... This was just... It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to... Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue...
Our fallback plan...
There you are. Perhaps I oughtn't... Wait. Really? In what way? These are... This... It simply needs to be revised. Now, I'm starting to believe you're just needlessly fretting. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely... Why, I'm shocked. I'm certainly... There is no call for that sort of meanness in the scientific field. Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Seer Bujold's research, which is quite brilliant. Now you've resorted to lying just to... The experiment... There was notable variance to the input data. I feel...
If I may... There's a critical time fly. I'm much through this. The framework...
It lacks... That is an interesting thought.
We tried. Our fault.
What was that? You're still...
You've suffered extensive damage, Commander.
Negative.
I would not refuse medical support.
All obey! Non-compete! rats. Like me! Where's our boss? Serve it!
Bloodshed.
Fall apart!
Divided by 0!
Bleed!
Target is insufficiently close.
Stop talking.
Enough shilly-shallying.
Solutions precede problems.
Progressing!
Not possible at target's current range. No target within operational parameters.
Fall apart!
Discovery of disturbance is imminent. Inefficient taunting. Honing in on possible hostile area. Avoiding search.
Negative. Target not in range.
Eliminate.
Vitals are in the red, Commander.
Verifying damage.
Fortificator at ready status.
Re-engaging.
For Eddie!
Found the target. I slay. Grief duly noted.
Get the scrap!
Yeah.
Worthless bodies. Ours. Take it.
Mine's a hostile.
Hurt.
Resorting to violence.
May all solutions precede problems.
Yeah.
Hurt. Like us.
She's dead, isn't she? Law help us.
Proceeding to attack.
Not complete!
Revenge for... Threat assessment. Grenade outbound. Approaching target coordinates.
Taking cover.
Your change!
This will be patiently here. Resuming
Threat detected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hurt. Like us.
Yeah.
Readying.
Stop talking.
Stun weapon ready, Commander.
She's dead, isn't she? Law help us. The charismatic mathematician was not so dissimilar to us.
Rival. Eliminate.
Dylan.
Get the scraps!
Temperature falling.
Interpolating.
Hazard benefits!
balancing the equation. Reacquiring target.
For Gary!
I'm becoming...
Emergency protocol survived.
Ready!
Temperature plummeting.
Grenade away! Follow my detonation!
Where's our boss?
Your confidence lacks peer review.
Fortification in progress.
Better than
Mitigating the threat.
overtime!
Verify my trepidation.
Balancing the equation.
All will pay!
Clarify unanticipated findings. Obviated.
Generator at ready status.
Tortured.
Didn't even try. I shouldn't be disappointed, but I've been thinking, always think you know better, don't you?
The credit or blame belongs to the command.
Right. Then, look, this may have worked out fine. I'll need to run the numbers a few times. If not, I guess the stakes weren't high enough you'd even... Oh. Before I forget.
Thank you. Anais? Oh, Brunn obviously murdered her. Or not. But her canned feigned concern about chat. Well enough, Commander. Shall we go?
No hostiles.
Commander, it's customary to evaluate results after a mission of reasonable significance. Would now be good? I've had some time to cogitate over what occurred at Point Obviation. Some parts don't sit right with me still. Wonder if you and I might talk it through. A bit, yes. With the work I used to do, I'm no stranger to guilt and regret. Midway into my requisite sleep cycle is when it usually plagues me the most. You might believe Anchoress Brunn was a murderer, or potentially a herald to cataclysm. Still, she was helpless, and we killed her. And yet, such actions were par for the course for me in the past. When my remorse for Brunn rears its head, it will need to get in line. Yes, Southworth was complicit. And now she's dead. Theoretically, no, not necessarily. In practice, with that motley group of scienticians, absolutely. Luckily, we halted the catastrophic ramifications. I hope so, at least. According to Anais, we could have reduced the likelihood of that occurring by completing the brain-off. It's not anywhere near zero, but it's unlikely. You were there. I'm sure you can imagine what might be going through my head. That is a reasonable understatement. When I first asked for your help, I envisioned we might speed up the solving of the equation, reinstate Anais in the Order, and more. So no, this is not how I envisioned events to culminate. In my endless internal calculations during my years drudging at the Zeranium manufactory, zero results led to this. In sum, I believe we saved everything. The numbers are solid. It is probable the future will live. Anais will live. I will live. We all will. Howbeit, separately. Appreciate you taking the time to talk it over, Commander.
Nature heedlessly assembled and
Can't tell the difference between cover and concealment. Then you need a good set of armor before someone succeeds in ventilating you.
10% wholly plus artificial. Artificiality is our guiding principle. Enjoy an artificially enhanced existence through the conspicuous
Hours.
Welcome to... What is it? Well, you'd probably pay me to remotely unlock it. And/or ask me in a remarkably debonair fashion. We hope...
no getters on my payroll. It's time to recognize the downwardly rover with my latest demotions report.
Yeah.
Starting with Dr. Giles Rasmussen, demoted from his clearly unimportant position within experimental...
Heard that rift near the archive has destabilized. Don't cause any trouble.
Please, don't distract me from my more pressing distractions.
Agent, I have a message for you. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant, and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. Oh no! No, not at all. The presiding bishop routinely spends time in a sensory deprivation chamber to hone her mental faculties. Of course, she does seem to be logging more hours in the chamber of late, but I'm certain that's all part of the plan. The rest of the Laureate Council is capable of managing affairs while the presiding bishop is occupied. Really, it's no reason for concern. Nothing in the garden is. Look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Do you? All conflict is transient in nature. To dwell on the negativity of a moment is to risk missing the opportunity of what comes next. Those in the garden have enough perspective to remain present and to focus on what matters: science and progress. And you for recognizing such quality of vision. Oh, I nearly forgot. Vicar Alden also asked me to direct you to him. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard, at the top of the stairs. May all your problems precede solutions. Enjoy your time in the garden.
You have a very non-scholarly look about you.
Is it just me? Or does something seem... Oh, never mind.
Test your hypothesis elsewhere.
I'm cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today. People will start to worry.
Alice, take it.
We did not abandon them. They abandoned the plan.
Welcome to the CAF integration point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested? Between you and me, I've always felt the same. What good are words if they're not accompanied by action?
You know, you do a passable impression of a scientician. Did you grow up near one of our settlements? Have a few years of order training?
I'm quite sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I understand you may technically count as a member, but there's a perfunctory element to your articulation. You don't believe in the plan, and you're clearly up to something. She sized you up almost immediately, Commander. Been softly probing you for information. I clocked her the first moment she opened her mouth. Excellent question. I've been wondering the same thing. Well, do I have to shoot up the place? Or will you come clean immediately? Who do you work for, little mole?
By the architect, keep your voice down, please. Even if what you say is true, this isn't a conversation best had amidst present company. Let's talk somewhere more private. Behind the CAF integration point, perhaps?
We deserve it.
You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Allow me to whet your appetite for intrigue a little further, shall I? I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. I'm limiting my water intake and using other pharmaceuticals to combat the effects. It's not a perfect system, but it works adequately enough. Why would the Order want to create a society of undistractable little academics whose only desire is to advance the plan? I wonder. It makes the mind quieter, like closing the door on a screaming crowd. It's not unpleasant. Depends on your definition of harm. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested? So you've heard of us. Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? It's too diluted by the time it enters circulation. I need the unfiltered drug, which is only accessible to those working in water reconditioning. Outside of work, I have, let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier.
What a lamentable state of affairs. I remember the days when Laplace's garden lived up to its estimable purpose. Now look at it. The fountain in disrepair, pedagogy in the park, even the lights above our heads have winked out like stars taken down from the sky. Nevertheless, one must persist. The plan is good. The shadow of ignorance cannot withstand its light. Oh, I couldn't say. This isn't my college, as it were. I'm a vicar. I tend to people's philosophical needs and leave the management of the garden to others. Oh, no? What a tremendous disappointment. Perhaps in time you will acquire the necessary skills and return. Or someone else will come along, as is the way of things.
On a scale of 1 to 100, how pleased are you with the garden in its current state? Please, try to capture your exact satisfaction to the nearest 10th integer.
Oh, 100? Certainly. That's the right answer, isn't it? I can show my math if you need. I'd really love to stay.
Determining the remainder of your stay in Laplace's garden is not the purpose of this survey. But your unprompted insecurity has been noted.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Steal it. Steal it.
Smart researchers patronize the scientician's surplus. Quality goods at algorithmically determine the scientician's surplus. No more than what you need.
Every day treating the same strains and abrasions. My tenure for a The operating theater is not That is not an invitation to return to your study and perform exploratory surgery on yourself or a willing volunteer, just to be clear. Not as concerning as some of the scenes I have been called, but I trust you are here for a reason other than to discuss scalpel-happy novices. Obviously. Do you think we drink unfiltered snow melt? I'm quite sure I have no knowledge of what you're talking about. I don't care. Is there anything else I can assist you with?
Strange to see all this vacant space after the overcrowding at Matriarch's Mercy. Plenty of room for refugees here. If only the Order administrants got their act together.
We, not theirs! Ours. Can't afford.
How did your hypothesis about the flowers fare?
Exposing them to melodic sound waves on a consistent basis did affect improvements on their overall growth.
And you controlled for the amount of carbon dioxide expelled from your mouth during these musical sequences?
More testing may be required. I can tell we have little crossover of interests.
Hello. Cogitate here often?
I won't think twice about applying the precise amount of force. You're not going to be a problematic variable, are you? Access is not granted. Off you go.
Not watching.
Are you going to be a problem? Because I have a solution that requires very little computation.
No reason to reason with you.
Did you know around 1,000 species of bacteria live on human skin? A fascinating, if not relevant, bit of trivia. Wouldn't you agree? And prodding me was intended to elicit what result, exactly? At any rate, I am quite conscious, merely waiting. Only whilst simultaneously attempting to repel waves of near-paralyzing trepidation, as one does. Exactly. I barely notice them anymore. Oh, but do pardon me. I am easily digressed by a good tangent. What were we discussing? Oh, yes. Now I remember. Sometime last year, I predetermined an occasion of momentous import would happen today, right here, at these very coordinates. None taken. Oh, but now I've forgotten to introduce myself properly, haven't I? Leslie Beckett, Oracle Laureate, Seer Supreme, leader of the Department of Predictive Analysis, and not terribly good at informal introductions, evidently. Forgive me if I don't shake hands. I prefer to keep my skin microbiome free of exogenetic cells. You'll understand. But now, if I'm not mistaken, you must be the agent we've been expecting. I knew loitering at this location would yield results. I, don't suppose you've stumbled upon any of our excogitation chapels around Cloister by chance? Excogitation chapels are order residencies where one can meditate in solitude on specific theorems relating to the plan. They're scattered all around Cloister. Prior to the war, such focused study led to all manner of breakthroughs, with audio logs routinely kept by the scientician in residence. In these unprecedented times, such logs could harbor hidden wisdom. However, with the war on, I've sadly been unable to get my hands on the last of these recordings. All confidential, I'm afraid. Many are still under peer review, but I can assure you, their value is commensurate with, why, the discovery of gravity, or has the potential to be. Oh no, I couldn't possibly ask you to endanger yourself by seeking out these logs. Cloister is rather treacherous, and some of the chapels are difficult to reach by design. However, if you happened upon these chapels and recovered these logs, I would most certainly be interested in their contents. By my reckoning, the amount of logs to be collected is 4. You have that? 4. No more, no less. Each chapel should have at least one somewhere inside.
Yeah. A second makeup exam will not be off, so I hope you studied this time, Briar. You may begin now.
Right. No pressure.
Hello, layperson.
For pity's sake, is it the pump?
Or the sealant. Industrial science is mostly theory, they said. You won't have to put your knowledge into practice for years, they said. Now the fountain's broken and I can't. Useless. I'm useless. Am I fretting? No. No one in the garden frets. Why would they? Well, there was Roberto. But then he was assigned to the delegation and... should have been back by now, actually. We had an avalanche recently, not far from the dome. One of these fountains stopped working around the same time. Stands to reason something must have been jostled loose. I recently placed into the industrial sciences, so I've been entrusted to fix the issue. But I've never had to put my knowledge into application before. It's not going well. You must be an agent of the architect. The panel here controls the intake and outtake for the fountains. I'd start there.
Helping infected purpleberry plants to spread farther and grow better than careless anti-choice scientists symbiosis, given how both the purpleberry plants
Cause trouble and I will scold you.
are benefiting
Chapter
from
and
the
verse.
relationship as a parasitical relationship. Field researchers discovered that co-native planetary fauna was well adapted to the parasite and hardly affected by it to any large amount. But human colonists were not so content. The disease disrupted the human internal biome so quickly that the eventual correspondingly large immune response leads to the explosive diarrhea, resulting in the expelling of the worms, the berries, and upselling unnecessary procedures or prescribing expensive ointments such as their
Security personnel are permitted in this booth. Leave.
Lift access is currently restricted. Keep moving.
Agent, over here.
Method that was judged too wasteful and expensive, since they increased the protein content of the berries without affecting their texture or flavor in any discernible.
Ah, there you are. I was informed by Gertie you've agreed to help us reconvene negotiations. With your aid, Auntie's Choice and the Order will soon be rivals no longer. Just think of all we can accomplish if our two sides reject fractiousness and combine our efforts. Remember, seek out ways to help both sides. Engender trust. Gertie and I will let you know when it's time to move forward. In the meantime, I might recommend you work on honing your oratory skills. Our presiding bishop and Auntie Cleo can be challenging to debate with.
Your admittance to the Chamber of Conflict Evaluation and Strategic Planning may come at a later date, as determined by the Office of the Oracle Laureate.
No admittance without the Artificer Laureate's permission.
Come back later.
The presiding bishop is not accepting visitors at this time.
Huh.
Line our pockets.
A visitor? It's for the best that you're talking to me now instead of mid-work. I do seem to have a slight propensity for stabbing randomly with my tools when interrupted, but I suppose that's enough time spinning in the statements column. Speak away. What are you... Beckett. Another prediction that he hasn't seen fit to notify me about. A more cynical exemplar might posit his doing this to be intentional. If you're here, I imagine you aim to petition the presiding bishop for her support, which is hardly a surprise. She is the most important individual in Arcadia. Yet, most others with aims to rule it are filled with aspirations of grandeur. Ruth is the sole individual capable of interpreting situations objectively. The corporate invaders will suck Arcadia of its resources and cast it to the wind. And the Protectorate are no better than machines. Moreover, once we solve the universal equation, it will benefit all of humanity. You, me, everyone. No more suffering, no more doubt. Well, I hope you'll see in time. There is a task of pivotal importance to the Order, but I cannot entrust it with just any come-by-chance outsider. As head of the Order's exemplars, It's my responsibility to assess whose aims upon Ruth may be malicious. Prove yourself to me first, then we may discuss the rest. That would be because I am. 3 years ago, I was 5th in succession as Artificer Laureate. Then Auntie's choice invaded. I leave the inference as to what transpired to you, but I believe I was chosen to make the difficult decisions and to remove the hurdles from the Order's path to enlightenment. In fact, one such hurdle is at the forefront of my mind. Cultists have come to infest Newton, an important Order heritage site. I have wanted them gone for months. Huh. Beckett wouldn't appreciate such a remark. Newton's value is purely spiritual. It contains nothing of strategic value, nor is it a useful staging point. It pains me, but I can't allow myself to commit resources to it. I can, however, commit personal funds and personal favors to individuals ready to weigh the numbers on our side. Journey to Newton. Eliminate the cultists to a person. Then we may speak of getting you an audience with Ruth. Newton contains the Six Pillars Chantry, which was one of the first temples founded after Arcadia's colonization. It's over 100 years old. The cultists are likely profaning it. But even if they aren't, I don't want them there. Our loss of Newton is symbolic. If we cannot protect it, how can we protect Arcadia? I'll withhold my appreciation until this task is complete. May you act within the equation's confines.
Informing the cultist Azza would be prudent prior to slaughtering her former associates.
Time for discounts.
I always find now. How might we be of use to one another? I scarcely take time to engage in idle conversation, but perhaps this will be illuminating in some fashion. Who told you about that? Were there an experiment being conducted here involving any kind of medicament? Confirming its existence would compromise it. The theoretical existence or non-existence of Order experiments are strictly within the Order's purview. It doesn't concern you. You are giving me cranial neuralgia. If you really want to bother someone about this, bother Beckett. Maybe he'll predict your arrival. Specifically, a phlogistinated firearm, capable of tunneling through reinforced armor. Broadly, weaponry, research, anything capable of giving our exemplars an edge. In the same way that Cloister is a snowball, yes. I generally prefer to keep discussions relevant.
At this time, residents of Laplace's garden are not permitted beyond this point.
Enjoy your time in the garden.
historical laureate hoped that sending me into desolation would mend what he saw as wounds in my mind. The first few weeks were horrible. Grief dogging my every step. Nightmares of my murdered colleagues. But then, the nightmares began to ease, and the grief ebbed away. What replaced them is emptiness. The Order speaks of humanity becoming something more, but their words are insufficient speculation. There is nothing more to be. Only dust and death, and the rifts await us. Those rifts, I find the absolute annihilation they offer oddly soothing. Perhaps I will make one last pilgrimage. One last journey on the path from nothing to nowhere.
Sorry to cut you off, but I'm encumbered with various concerns of the existential variety.
Yeah!
Still too many corporate bootlickers drawing air around here for my taste.
Beckett was right. Solitude has been good for my studies. In just 93 days, I have made extraordinary progress deciphering the truths of our universe. For instance, there are none. None whatsoever. Objective reality is itself a concept invented by subjective observers eager to apply reason to chaos. In light of that view, better to assume we are all sleepwalkers, sharing the same dream of consciousness. We are the universe, attempting to know itself. Life-affirming, in a way. And to think, I almost walked out into that blizzard last week.
protocol syringes primed.
You know what? You're alright.
Time for discounts.
Has anyone seen Jack? He was patrolling the caves in Sector 13, but it doesn't seem he's made his return.
Nah, but I wouldn't worry. Jack may be a hullhead, but he's got enough sense to make it back before dark.
I hope you're right.
You've been quite an asset. Sorry, time is bits. Bits is time. Or are, that is.
Not watching.
Press the second switch and hold down the blue button for 3 seconds to arm it.
Wait a tick. Earlier you told me it was the red button.
No, you idiot. It was definitely the blue one.
Boyd, I swear, if this blows up... Oh, you...
Violence is the answer.
Gary!
Is that what I think it is? Might finally be time for some action. Now I have to do paperwork for accidental weapons discharge, accidental loss of life, and replacement munitions paperwork. Why am I always so unlucky?
Free to take.
Emergency protocols ready.
Malefactors, I
Like me!
You have my attention.